When life throws challenges your way, how you respond makes all the difference. It's not just about taking action, it's about learning what works and using that knowledge to improve. In this video, discover why reviewing your successes and adjusting your strategy is the key to real progress. If you want to stop repeating mistakes and start moving forward with confidence, this message is for you. Chapter 1. Train your mind to seek positive outcomes. You wake up in the morning. Something's bothering you. It could be a small thing, a message that never came, a task that went sideways yesterday, or maybe just that weight you feel in your chest because life hasn't gone how you thought it would. That's real. You feel it. It sits heavy, and your mind starts drifting. Why is this happening? What's wrong with me? What if this keeps happening? This is the moment most people don't even notice. The moment their mind chooses a path, either down a road of more problems, more doubts, more mental noise, or down the road that leads to clarity, calm, and real solutions. The direction you choose shapes how you live your life. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. Training your mind to seek positive outcomes isn't about ignoring reality. It's not about pretending everything is okay. It's about building the mental strength to look directly at what's hard and ask yourself a better question. What can I do with this? That's the beginning of power. If you constantly focus on the problem, your mind will start feeding you more of it. That's how the brain works. It gives attention to what you feed it. Focus on problems, and you'll begin to feel stuck, anxious, frustrated, or worse, helpless. But the moment you switch your mind to search for even the smallest positive action, something shifts inside you. You move from being passive to active, from powerless to in control. Training your mind doesn't happen by accident. It happens by awareness, and then by choice. You have to notice when your thoughts start spiraling into what's wrong. Pause, take a breath, and then choose to redirect. Ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do to make this better? Sometimes you won't find the perfect answer. That's okay. It's not about having all the answers. It's about developing the habit of turning toward growth instead of drowning in doubt. When you train your mind to look for what could go right, you start creating space for better thoughts, better decisions, and better results. The people who live with purpose, who bounce back from hard times, who seem to always find a way forward, they aren't lucky. They've trained their minds. When a problem shows up, they don't get lost in it. They step back and say, okay, this happened, now what? This is a discipline. And just like any other habit, it gets stronger the more you practice it. You might think, but this is just how I am. My mind always goes to the worst-case scenario. And I get that. It may have been true for years, but that's not your identity. That's just your past conditioning. It's not permanent. And that voice in your head that doubts, overthinks, or expects the worst, it's not trying to ruin your life. It's trying to protect you from disappointment. But here's the truth. Living in constant fear of what might go wrong is not protection, it's paralysis. You're not here to survive the day. You're here to build a life you're proud of. That requires you to train your thoughts. You've probably been through enough already. You've seen how life can hit hard, but you're still here. That says something about you. And now, it's time to start living from that strength, not your fear. Imagine walking into a room and two things are lying on the table, a problem and a possibility. If you stare at the problem too long, the possibility fades away. But if you shift your eyes, if you shift your focus, even a little, you start to see a way out. That's what this mindset does. It doesn't erase the problem, it just puts your power where it belongs, in your ability to respond. So how do you start training your mind? Start with awareness. Catch yourself when you start thinking in circles. When your thoughts are just repeating what's wrong, stop and notice. That alone takes strength. Then give yourself permission to ask a different question. What can I learn from this? What can I do next? What is still in my control? These questions bring clarity. They remind you that you're not a victim to every situation. You're a creator. And even if you can't change everything, you can always take one step, one thought, one action. That's enough to shift the day. Make it a daily practice. Every time you catch yourself focusing too long on what's wrong, shift, focus on what's possible. Say it out loud if you need to. I'm choosing to look for a way forward, and be patient with yourself. Training your mind doesn't mean you'll never feel stuck again. It means you'll notice it faster, and you'll bounce back stronger. It means you won't waste your energy feeding problems. You'll use that energy to fuel solutions. There's something powerful that happens when you do this consistently. You start to feel capable. You stop waiting for life to get easier. You start building the inner strength to handle it better. Your confidence grows, not because the world changes, but because your mindset does. I've met people who've lost everything, job, money, relationships, and still found a way to rebuild. And I've met people who had every opportunity, yet stayed stuck in self-doubt. The difference? Focus. One group trained their minds to look for what they could do. The other got trapped focusing on what they couldn't control. You get to choose which group you belong to. Every day, every challenge, every thought. And if you're wondering whether this actually works, try it. Take a small problem you're facing today. Maybe something at work, or with a relationship, or your health. Notice how your mind reacts. Now pause, ask yourself, what's one small step I can take to improve this? Even the smallest step will prove something important. You are not powerless. And once you experience that, even once, it becomes easier to do it again. So yes, problems will keep coming. That's life, but you don't have to be controlled by them. You don't have to overthink, overanalyze, or shut down. You can shift. You can rise, you can train your mind to seek positive outcomes and build a life that reflects that strength. This is how real change begins, not by waiting for the storm to pass, but by learning how to steer your ship through it. You're more capable than you think. You just need to put your focus where your power lives, on solutions. Chapter 2. Break big problems into small, actionable steps. Sometimes, the hardest part of dealing with a problem is how big it feels. You look at the situation in front of you. Maybe it's debt. Maybe it's a broken relationship. Maybe it's your health, your future, or just the pressure of where your life is right now, and it feels like a mountain. Too big, too heavy, too complicated. And when it feels too big, you shut down. You overthink. You wait. You say things like, I'll figure it out later, or I don't even know where to start. But the truth is, you don't need to fix the whole thing today. You just need to break it down. Because even the biggest mountain is climbed one small step at a time. The key to progress, the key to making real change, isn't having some massive breakthrough. It's learning how to break down the overwhelming into something manageable. That's the skill. That's how you start. Every big problem is just a collection of smaller ones. And once you see that, you stop feeling paralyzed and start feeling focused. You start seeing things not as impossible, but as a series of small, clear actions you can actually take. So here's the first thing you need to do. Stop trying to fix everything all at once. You don't need to solve your entire financial situation today. You don't need to rebuild your confidence overnight. You don't need to figure out your whole future in one sitting. That mindset only adds pressure, and pressure kills momentum. What you need is clarity. Ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today? If your problem is money, your first step might be to write down exactly what you owe. That's it. No judgment. Just face it clearly. If your problem is a toxic habit, your step might be replacing just one moment of that routine with something different. You don't have to overhaul your whole lifestyle, just one change at a time. If your problem is emotional, anxiety, sadness, burnout, your step might be writing about it, or calling someone you trust, or even going outside to clear your head. That's where progress begins, not with the giant leap, but with the first real doable action. Big problems create fear, small steps create motion, and motion builds belief. Most people wait until they feel motivated to act, but that's backwards. It's action that creates motivation. When you move, when you do something, even small, your mind begins to shift. You feel capable. You feel like you're doing something about it. And that feeling builds momentum. It doesn't matter how slow your start is. What matters is that you stop spinning your wheels and start moving forward. You also need to learn to ask better questions. Instead of, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I do right now with what I have? Instead of, how am I going to fix this whole thing? Ask, what's one piece I can focus on today? Your brain responds to the questions you ask. Feed it questions that focus on action, not fear. And you know what else helps? Writing things down. When you write down a big problem, and then list the smaller parts of it, what needs attention, what you can control, what can wait, you start to feel less trapped. You can see the path forward. It turns a mental mess into a plan. Let's say your problem is that you're feeling lost in life. No direction, no motivation. Instead of just sitting in that feeling, break it down. Ask yourself, what area of my life feels most off right now? What would progress look like this week? Not this year. Who can I talk to? Who's been where I am? What's one commitment I can make for the next 3 days? These questions don't solve the whole problem, but they open doors. They give you something you can act on, and action is always the goal. I'll tell you this, if you keep looking at the size of the problem, you'll keep talking yourself out of trying. But if you can train yourself to simplify the challenge, to narrow your focus, and just take one step, you will surprise yourself with how strong and resourceful you really are. And don't forget this part. It's okay to move slowly. Fast isn't the goal. Forward is the goal. Sometimes you'll move an inch. Sometimes you'll move a mile. But as long as you're moving in the right direction, you're growing, you're changing, you're winning. So don't compare your pace to anyone else. Don't beat yourself up because you're not where you want to be yet. Be proud that you're doing the work, one small step at a time. Some days the step is just showing up. Some days it's choosing not to quit. Some days it's starting again after a setback. All of that counts. All of that matters. You build a better life, one decision at a time, one small win at a time. That's how confidence is built. That's how success is built. That's how peace is built. So whatever your problem is right now, no matter how big it feels, start there. Break it into smaller pieces. Look for what you can do. Take one step, then another, then another. And when your mind wants to wander back into overwhelm, stop it. Breathe. Refocus. Remind yourself, this is hard, but I am capable, because you are. You've made it through things you thought would break you. You've had moments when you didn't know how you'd keep going. and yet you're still here. That's strength. That's proof that you're not finished. So keep going. Big problems don't stay big forever. When you start solving them piece by piece, it's not magic. It's not luck. It's clarity, focus, and small, consistent action. You've got this. Start where you are. Use what you have. Take the first step today. Chapter 3. Ask what you can do right now. There's a question that has the power to change your life if you learn how to ask it, especially when things feel uncertain, stuck, or overwhelming. It's not complicated. In fact, it's only 6 words. What can I do right now? That's it. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when things are better. What can I do right now? You see, when people face a challenge, their mind often goes too far into the future. They think 10 steps ahead, imagining all the things that could go wrong, or they stay trapped in the past, replaying mistakes or missed chances. But the only moment you actually have control over, the only place where your actions matter, is right now. You can't act yesterday. You can't fix next month. But you can do something in this moment. And that's where progress begins. This question, what can I do right now, is simple. But don't underestimate it. It pulls your focus away from fear and toward action. It's the mental switch that moves you from passive to proactive, from waiting to building, from frozen to flowing. Let's be real. Life throws hard things your way. Maybe you've been stuck for a while. Maybe something unexpected hit you. Maybe you've been trying and trying, but nothing is working the way you hoped. When that happens, it's easy to fall into frustration. You start thinking, this isn't fair, or I can't fix this, or why does this always happen to me? That's normal. But the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to get out. That's why this one question matters so much. Ask it even when you feel stuck. Especially when you feel stuck. What can I do right now? Even the smallest action counts. Even a little step in the right direction creates movement. And once you get moving, everything starts to change. When you feel overwhelmed, this question brings you back to focus. When your mind is racing, this question brings you back to clarity. It's a reset button, a mental anchor. Let's say you're having a bad day. Work isn't going right. You're drained. You feel behind. Ask the question, what can I do right now? You might not be able to fix the entire situation, but you can take a 5-minute break. You can step outside. You can write down the 3 most important things to focus on. You can breathe deeply and slow your mind. Those aren't small things. They're power moves, because they bring you back into control. Or maybe your struggle is deeper. You feel like you're losing motivation. You're doubting your direction. You've been trying to change something, your habits, your mindset, your life, but nothing seems to stick. That's when this question becomes your lifeline. What can I do right now? Can you stand up, stretch your body, and take in a full breath? Can you drink a glass of water? Can you turn off your distractions for 30 minutes and focus on one thing that matters? This isn't about solving your whole life. It's about proving to yourself that you're not powerless, that even in your lowest moments, there's still something you can do. And when you take action, even a small one, you shift your identity. You go from someone who wants to change to someone who is changing. That's how transformation happens, not all at once, but in small, focused decisions repeated over time. People often wait for perfect conditions before they move. They wait for motivation. They wait for clarity. They wait for certainty. But the truth is, motivation shows up after you start. Clarity comes from taking action. Certainty grows when you learn, adjust, and keep going. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a current step. Asking what you can do right now forces you to get practical. It forces you to drop the excuses, and it keeps your focus where it belongs, on what's in your hands, not what's out of reach. You might not be able to control other people. You might not be able to control the outcome, but you can control your next move. That's enough. That's power. The most successful people, the most mentally strong people, aren't the ones who always know the future. They're the ones who stay present. They act in the now. They don't waste time complaining about the whole staircase. They just take the next step. And you can too. You can train yourself to ask this question daily. When you wake up and feel off, ask, what can I do right now? When you're procrastinating, ask, what can I do right now? When you're doubting yourself, ask, what can I do right now? Write it on your wall if you have to. Put it on a sticky note. Repeat it like a personal motto. Because when this becomes your default way of thinking, you don't stay stuck for long. You develop grit. You learn how to move forward even when life is heavy. You build the habit of action, and the habit of action is what separates those who change from those who just wish things were different. It's easy to overthink. It's easy to plan and never begin. But nothing changes until you start moving. Even if you don't feel ready, even if you're scared, even if you're unsure, start anyway. Do something now. One small step can trigger a chain reaction. One clear action can shift your whole mindset. And once that shift happens, you see things differently. You carry yourself differently. You become someone who moves, not someone who waits. And over time, those little moves you make, those small things you do right now, build a life you're proud of. They turn into habits. They stack into confidence. They form the foundation of real growth. So wherever you are in your life right now, whether you're building, rebuilding, or barely holding it together, ask yourself the one question that will always move you forward. What can I do right now? And then do it. Because nothing is stronger than a person who knows how to act, even when things feel uncertain. That kind of strength isn't loud. It's steady, it's real, and it's inside you. You just have to use it. Chapter 4. Replace complaints with constructive next moves. We all complain sometimes when something goes wrong. When someone disappoints us. When life feels unfair or heavy. It's human. You feel frustration and you want to let it out. So you vent. You talk. You dwell on it. You replay it in your head. But here's the truth. Complaining doesn't fix anything. It doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't give you more strength. It just drains your energy and keeps you stuck in the same place. And over time, the habit of complaining turns into a mindset. You begin to see everything through a negative filter. Every obstacle feels worse than it is. Every minor issue becomes a major one. You start expecting disappointment before it even arrives. That's not because life is always bad. It's because your focus is in the wrong place. Complaints are reactions. Constructive moves are responses. And that difference is what changes your direction. If you want to make real progress, emotionally, financially, mentally, you have to make a decision. You have to decide that every time you feel like complaining, you'll shift your focus toward the next move you can take. That's the mindset of someone who builds a strong life. Not someone who never faces problems, but someone who refuses to let those problems define them. Start with this. The moment you catch yourself complaining, pause. Don't judge yourself. Just notice it. That's the first step toward change. Then ask yourself one question. What can I do next to move forward, even a little? This one shift in thinking can completely change how you handle your day. You miss a deadline. Do you blame everything around you, or do you figure out how to prioritize better next time? Your friend lets you down. Do you spend hours replaying the story, or do you set a boundary and focus on what you can control? You feel stuck in your routine. Do you keep complaining about being tired, or do you take one action that breaks the cycle? The people who rise in life don't rise because things are easy. They rise because they've trained themselves to ask better questions and take better actions. They don't give their energy to things they can't change. They put their focus on what they can change. You can do the same. And it starts by understanding that complaining has a cost. It feels like release, but it's actually resistance. It feels like being honest, but it often becomes an excuse. You convince yourself that the world is the problem, when the real issue is that you're not doing what you can do with what's in front of you. That's hard to hear, but it's freeing too. Because once you realize that complaining doesn't help, you stop wasting time. You stop waiting for someone else to fix it. You stop making the same mistake twice. You become someone who takes ownership of their life, and ownership brings confidence. Complaining is passive. It's saying, "This happened, and I can't do anything about it." But when you shift from complaining to constructive thinking, you say, "This happened, and here's what I'm doing next." That's powerful. That's when you start showing up differently in your work, your relationships, your personal growth. People start noticing that you don't just talk, you move. You don't just react, you respond. And that response becomes your identity. So how do you actually do this? How do you replace complaints with constructive next moves in real life? Start by building awareness. Pay attention to your language. When you hear yourself saying things like, "This always happens to me," "I can't stand this," "Nothing ever works out," pause. Ask yourself, is this helpful? Is this moving me forward? Then shift your language. Shift your question. Try this instead. Okay, this happened. What's my next move? What's one part of this I can change? How can I learn something from this moment? Language is everything. The way you speak shapes how you feel, and how you feel shapes how you act. If you speak from frustration, you stay in frustration. But if you speak from ownership, you move forward with clarity. Next, create a go-to list of actions for difficult moments. When you feel stuck or upset, instead of spiraling, have a few simple moves ready. Step away and take a walk. Write down the facts of the situation. Make a list of possible next steps. Talk to someone who focuses on solutions, not just sympathy. Break the situation into smaller, manageable parts. This isn't about ignoring problems. It's about using your energy wisely. And here's something else that matters: who you surround yourself with. If you're always around people who complain, criticize, and make excuses, you'll pick up that habit too. But if you spend time with people who focus on action, growth, and next steps, their mindset starts to influence you. Choose conversations that move you forward. Choose people who remind you what's possible, not what's wrong. That's not being unrealistic. That's being committed to change. You also need to practice self-discipline. There are going to be days when you want to complain, when you feel like venting, blaming, or giving up. That's normal. You're human. But this is where growth happens, when you feel that urge, and you pause. You don't act on it. You don't feed it. You step back, you ask the better question, and you choose your next move with intention. That's discipline. That's maturity. And over time it becomes your new normal. You'll start noticing that you bounce back faster, that you don't stay stuck as long, that your energy goes into building, not breaking down, and that kind of life feels lighter, stronger, more peaceful. It also builds trust with yourself. Every time you respond instead of complain, you prove to yourself that you can handle life, not perfectly, but powerfully. You stop waiting to be rescued. You start becoming the person who leads your life forward. So if you've been caught in a loop of frustration, negativity, or self-pity, this is your moment. You don't need to solve everything today. You just need to decide that from now on, when something goes wrong, you won't waste energy blaming the world. You'll take a breath, and then you'll take a step, because forward is the only direction that leads to change. Your next move doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real, and it has to come from a place of ownership, not blame. So replace the complaint, make the call, write the plan, take the walk, send the message, ask for help. Whatever that next move is, do it. And if nothing else, just pause long enough to remind yourself, this moment doesn't have to control you. You have a choice. Always. You can feed the frustration, or you can build the future. Choose to move. Chapter 5. Write down 3 possible solutions immediately. When problems come up, the first thing most people do is get overwhelmed. The mind floods with doubts, fears, and what-ifs. It's natural, but it's also a trap. The longer you stay stuck in that swirl of negative thoughts, the harder it becomes to move forward. There's a simple but powerful tool that can break this cycle fast. It's writing down 3 possible solutions immediately. This practice changes everything because it shifts your focus from the problem itself to what you can do about it. And taking action, even mentally, opens the door to real progress. When a challenge hits, your mind often goes to extremes. This is impossible, I have no options, or there's no way out. Writing 3 solutions forces your brain to search for real options. It trains your mind to look beyond the obstacle. It doesn't matter if the solutions seem small or imperfect. The goal isn't to find the perfect answer right away. The goal is to find any path forward. This simple exercise puts you in control. It stops you from feeling helpless. For example, imagine your job feels overwhelming. You're stuck in long hours, low energy, and unclear direction. Instead of focusing on how hard it is, write down 3 solutions. Talk to your manager about adjusting your workload. Plan your tasks for the next day with clear priorities. Set boundaries to protect your personal time. You don't need to act on all 3 at once. Just having these ideas on paper reduces anxiety and creates options. The act of writing itself makes the problem less scary because it becomes a task you can manage. Even if the first 2 solutions don't work, having a third option shows you're prepared to keep going. This mindset builds resilience. This exercise also strengthens decision-making. When your mind is flooded with worries, decisions feel impossible. Writing down solutions breaks the overwhelm. It narrows your focus and gives you choices. You become a problem solver instead of a problem thinker. Another benefit is that this habit encourages creativity. When you write down 3 solutions, your brain searches for new possibilities. You begin to see options you didn't notice before. Some solutions might be obvious. Others might be creative or outside your comfort zone. This opens the door to growth. Over time, this simple habit builds confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable of handling challenges. You train your mind to look for answers rather than excuses. This is especially helpful in stressful moments. When anxiety hits or frustration builds, Pulling out a notebook or phone to write 3 solutions can ground you. It shifts your energy from fear to action. You also learn to be kinder to yourself. Instead of harsh self-judgment or negative spirals, you focus on what you can do. That shift creates space for hope and progress. This practice is a tool you can use every day, for small problems or big challenges. For personal goals or work stress, writing down 3 solutions immediately puts you in the driver's seat of your life. Start simple. Keep your solutions realistic and actionable. Don't overthink them. The goal is to create momentum. If one solution isn't possible today, focus on another. Keep writing solutions as you face new challenges. This creates a mindset of action. Eventually, this habit becomes automatic. Your brain learns to seek solutions first instead of problems. You build a mindset of strength and flexibility. This doesn't mean you won't feel overwhelmed sometimes. But when those moments come, you'll have a clear way to move forward. This small daily practice adds up. It leads to bigger confidence, better problem-solving skills, and a more peaceful mind. You aren't defined by the problems you face. You are defined by how you respond. Writing down 3 possible solutions immediately is one of the simplest ways to respond well. So next time life throws a challenge at you, pause, grab a pen or open a note. Write down 3 ways you could move forward. This quick action will change how you feel, think, and act. It's your way out of overwhelm, your path to progress, your tool for growth. And every time you do it, you prove something important. You are capable. You have options. You can handle whatever comes your way. That's power. That's strength. That's how real change happens. Chapter 6. Surround yourself with solution-oriented thinkers. The people you spend the most time with have more influence on your life than almost anything else. Your mindset, your energy, your habits, they all soak up the atmosphere around you. When you want to focus on solutions instead of problems, surrounding yourself with the right people isn't just helpful, it's essential. Think about it. When you're around people who constantly complain, blame, and focus on what's wrong, it's easy to slip into that same way of thinking. Their words shape your thoughts. Their attitude affects your mood. Over time, this negativity can weigh heavily, clouding your judgment and stealing your motivation. On the other hand, when you spend time with solution-oriented thinkers, something different happens. Their mindset rubs off on you. You begin to see problems as challenges to overcome, not obstacles that block your path. You start focusing on action, not excuses. You learn to ask better questions and take control of your own story. Being solution-oriented doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending life is perfect. It means facing challenges honestly, but choosing to focus your energy on what you can do to improve the situation. It means looking forward, not backward. When you surround yourself with people who embody this mindset, you tap into a powerful support system. You gain fresh perspectives, creative ideas, and encouragement to keep going when things get tough. These people don't just talk about problems, they talk about possibilities and progress. This kind of environment pushes you to grow. It challenges you to raise your standards. It holds you accountable to your goals. And most importantly, it reminds you that you're not alone. Many successful people credit their growth to the company they keep. They surround themselves with mentors, peers, and friends who inspire them to think bigger and act smarter. They avoid energy drainers who pull them down or keep them stuck in negativity. You might be wondering how to find and connect with these solution-oriented thinkers. The truth is, they can be found in many places: your workplace, community groups, online forums, or even books and podcasts. Look for people who focus on solutions, not just problems. People who offer encouragement without sugarcoating reality. People who challenge you to be better without tearing you down. When you spend time with these individuals, pay attention to how they respond to setbacks. Notice how they frame challenges. Observe how they keep moving forward. This isn't about imitation but inspiration. You'll learn new ways of thinking and acting that become part of your own mindset. It's also important to evaluate your current relationships. Are there people around you who drain your energy or reinforce negative thinking? That's a hard reality to face, but sometimes you need to set boundaries or distance yourself from toxic influences to protect your growth. Choosing who you allow close to you is one of the most important decisions you can make. It shapes not only your present but your future. When you align yourself with positive, solution-focused people, you create an environment where your own mindset can thrive. Surrounding yourself with solution-oriented thinkers also teaches you how to communicate differently. You learn to ask better questions, listen actively, and offer constructive feedback. These skills improve your relationships and open doors to new opportunities. It's natural to face problems and frustrations, but when you're in a circle of problem solvers, those challenges become stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. You develop resilience and a forward-thinking attitude that helps you navigate life's ups and downs. This mindset isn't developed overnight. It grows through consistent exposure to positive influences and daily practice. Each conversation, each interaction becomes a chance to strengthen your focus on solutions. You don't have to wait for a perfect circle of friends or colleagues to start changing your mindset. You can begin by seeking out one new connection, a mentor, a peer, or even a virtual community that embodies this approach. Engage with them regularly. Absorb their habits. Reflect on how they handle challenges. Over time, you'll notice a shift inside you. Your thoughts become clearer. Your energy lifts. You feel more confident in your ability to face problems and find answers. You become someone who leads by example, inspiring others to focus on solutions too. Surrounding yourself with solution-oriented thinkers is an investment in your future self. It's a commitment to growth, resilience, and positivity. It's a reminder that while you can't control every circumstance, you can control who you choose to learn from and lean on. So as you continue your journey, be intentional about your company. Seek out those who lift you up, challenge you, and help you see possibilities where others see barriers. Their mindset will become your mindset, and together you'll build a life focused on progress, not problems. Remember, growth happens in community. You don't have to do this alone. Find your tribe. Surround yourself with those who see solutions, and watch how your own life begins to transform. Chapter 7. Focus on progress instead of perfection. Life doesn't wait for perfection. It moves forward regardless of whether we feel ready or whether everything is perfect. Yet so many people get stuck waiting to have the right skills, waiting for the right moment, waiting for everything to be just right before they start or take the next step. This is one of the biggest obstacles to growth. The trap of perfectionism. Perfectionism can feel like a high standard. It can seem like it pushes us to do better, but in reality, it often holds us back. It creates fear, fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, fear of not measuring up. That fear keeps us stuck. It stops us from trying. It stops us from moving forward. Focusing on progress instead of perfection is a mindset shift. It means valuing the small steps you take every day. It means recognizing that improvement, not perfection, is the path to success. When you focus on progress, You free yourself from the pressure of being perfect. You allow yourself to be human, imperfect, learning, growing. You give yourself permission to make mistakes because you know that mistakes are part of the process. Every person who has accomplished something meaningful has failed many times. They didn't stop when things weren't perfect. They kept going because progress mattered more than perfection. When you focus on progress, you celebrate the small wins. Finishing a task, learning something new, showing up consistently, these are all progress. And progress builds momentum. Momentum is what keeps you moving, even when motivation fades. When you see that you are getting better, even if it's slow, it encourages you to keep going. Perfectionism, on the other hand, focuses only on the final result. It makes you feel like anything less than perfect is failure. That kind of thinking is exhausting. It drains your confidence and energy. Shifting your focus to progress means changing the story you tell yourself. Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough yet," say, "I'm improving every day." Instead of saying, "This isn't perfect," say, "This is a step forward." This mindset allows you to keep moving forward, even when things aren't perfect. It lets you learn from your experiences and use that knowledge to do better next time. Progress doesn't have to be huge to matter. Small improvements add up over time. Like saving a little money each day, practicing a skill for a few minutes, or making healthier choices one meal at a time. It's important to track your progress, not to compare yourself to others, but to see how far you've come. Reflection helps you appreciate your growth and motivates you to continue. Remember, progress is not a straight line. Sometimes you'll take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. That's normal. What matters is that you keep moving in the right direction. Perfectionism can also cause procrastination. When you feel like you have to do something perfectly, you might avoid starting altogether. Focusing on progress helps you overcome that. It encourages you to start, even if the beginning feels messy or uncertain. This mindset can be applied to all areas of life: work, relationships, health, personal goals. It helps you stay consistent and resilient. When you accept that progress is your goal, you reduce stress and pressure. You enjoy the journey more because you're not constantly judging yourself or waiting for a perfect moment. This doesn't mean settling for less or giving up on your goals. It means understanding that growth is a process and that every step forward counts. Progress is a sign of life. It means you are moving, learning, and becoming more of who you want to be. So when you find yourself stuck, overwhelmed, or discouraged by imperfection, remind yourself to focus on progress. Celebrate your small wins. Keep taking steps, no matter how small. Perfection isn't the goal. Progress is, and progress leads to success. Chapter 8. Turn every challenge into a learning opportunity. Life doesn't come with an instruction manual. Every one of us faces challenges, some small, some big, that test us in ways we didn't expect. What separates those who grow from those who stay stuck isn't the absence of problems, but the way they respond to them. Turning every challenge into a learning opportunity is one of the most powerful mindsets you can develop. It's a choice to see obstacles not as dead ends, but as chances to grow, improve, and become stronger. When a challenge arises, your first instinct might be to resist it, feel frustrated, or even give up. That's natural. No one enjoys struggle. But the moment you decide to look for the lesson hidden inside the challenge, everything changes. Every difficulty holds valuable insight. It might reveal something you need to improve. It might show you a new perspective. It might teach you about your own strength or patience. When you turn challenges into learning opportunities, you stop wasting energy on blame or regret. Instead, you focus on growth and progress. This mindset fuels resilience and keeps you moving forward, even when the path is tough. For example, when a project at work fails, instead of just feeling defeated, examine what went wrong and why. What can you do differently next time? What skills do you need to build? This transforms a painful experience into a roadmap for success. Challenges also teach you about yourself. They reveal your strengths and weaknesses. They show you how you handle pressure, how persistent you are, and how creative you can be when forced to adapt. This self-awareness is priceless because it guides your growth. You learn what to focus on and what to change. You become more prepared for future challenges. Sometimes, the lesson isn't obvious right away. It takes reflection and honesty to uncover it. Writing down what happened, how you felt, and what you learned can help make sense of difficult situations. It's important to approach challenges with curiosity instead of fear. Ask questions like, what can this teach me? How can I use this experience to improve? What strengths did I discover today? This curiosity shifts your mindset from victim to student. You become active in your growth instead of passive. Turning challenges into learning opportunities also changes how you handle failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Each failure teaches you something new and pushes you closer to your goals. The most successful people have failed many times, but they didn't stop. They learned from their failures and used that knowledge to get better. You can do the same. When you face a challenge, you can choose to be discouraged or to be curious, to give up or to grow, to blame or to learn. Choosing to learn makes you stronger. It builds your confidence. It prepares you for the next challenge because you know that even if things get hard, you have the skills and mindset to handle it. This mindset also reduces fear. When you see challenges as opportunities to learn, you stop fearing failure or setbacks. Instead, you see them as natural steps on your journey. It's important to be patient with yourself during this process. Growth doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes the lessons take time to reveal themselves. Sometimes you need to try again before you fully understand. That's okay. The key is to stay open and keep asking, what can I learn from this? This approach not only improves your personal growth, but also your relationships and work. People respect those who can face difficulties calmly and use them to grow. It shows maturity, resilience, and wisdom. You become someone who doesn't just survive challenges, but uses them as fuel to thrive. This is a powerful way to live. So next time you face a problem, don't just focus on how hard it is. Look deeper. Ask yourself what this challenge can teach you. Write down your thoughts. Reflect on your feelings, and use what you learn to take your next step with confidence. Remember, every challenge holds a lesson. Every struggle carries growth, and every setback is a setup for a comeback. Turning challenges into learning opportunities isn't easy. It takes practice and intention, but the payoff is a life where you grow stronger through adversity, build resilience, and keep moving forward with purpose. You have what it takes to turn your challenges into your greatest teachers. You just need to choose that mindset every day. Chapter 9. Stay calm and respond with intentional action. Life throws surprises at us every day. Some are good, some are challenging. When challenges hit, your first reaction often shapes everything that follows. Most people respond with panic, frustration, or confusion. They let their emotions control their decisions, and that leads to more problems. The difference between those who thrive and those who struggle, is the ability to stay calm and respond with intentional action. Staying calm doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending everything is fine. It means recognizing your emotions, but choosing not to let them control you. It means pausing before reacting. This pause is powerful. It gives you space to breathe, think, and assess the situation clearly. When you respond intentionally, you make decisions based on reason and purpose, not impulse or fear. Intentional action means taking steps that move you forward, even if they're small. It's about choosing what to do next with awareness, instead of rushing into a reaction that could make things worse. When you stay calm, your mind works better. You see options you might miss when you're stressed. You make better decisions. You handle setbacks more effectively. For example, imagine you get unexpected bad news. Your first instinct might be to panic or get angry. But if you can pause, breathe, and calm your mind, you can think through what to do next. Maybe it means gathering more information. Maybe it means asking for help. Maybe it means changing your plans. Each of these responses is intentional. Each one moves you closer to a solution. Staying calm and acting intentionally isn't easy, especially when emotions run high. It takes practice. It takes self-awareness. But it's a skill anyone can develop. One way to build this skill is through deep breathing. When you feel overwhelmed, slow your breath. Inhale deeply and exhale slowly. This simple act signals your body to relax. It lowers stress and helps you regain focus. Another important step is to remind yourself that no situation is permanent. Even the toughest challenges will pass. Keeping this perspective helps calm your mind and reduces panic. Intentional action also means being clear about your priorities. When you're calm, you can ask yourself, what's the most important thing I can do right now? What step will make the biggest difference? This clarity prevents wasted energy on distractions or unhelpful reactions. It focuses your efforts where they count. Sometimes intentional action requires saying no or setting boundaries. It means protecting your time and energy so you can stay focused and effective. It also means accepting what you cannot change and focusing on what you can control. This acceptance frees you from unnecessary frustration and helps you use your energy wisely. Staying calm and responding intentionally builds confidence. Each time you handle a challenge this way, you prove to yourself that you are capable. You strengthen your resilience and improve your problem-solving skills. This mindset doesn't mean you won't feel upset or stressed. It means you don't let those feelings dictate your actions. You learn to manage your emotions instead of being managed by them. In relationships, staying calm and responding with intention creates better communication and understanding. It prevents conflicts from escalating and helps find solutions faster. At work, it improves your ability to handle pressure and make smart decisions. It earns the respect of others and opens doors to new opportunities. Developing this mindset starts with small moments. Practice pausing before you speak or act. Notice how your body feels when you're stressed and use breathing or grounding techniques to calm yourself. Over time, these moments become habits. You respond with intention naturally, even under pressure. Remember, life will always have challenges, but how you respond shapes your experience. Staying calm and acting intentionally gives you control. It empowers you to focus on solutions, not problems. You don't have to be perfect at this. You just have to keep practicing. Each step forward is progress. So when the next challenge comes, pause, breathe. Ask yourself what you can do right now that will move you forward. Then take that step with confidence. That calm, intentional action is your greatest strength. It turns problems into opportunities. It turns setbacks into comebacks. And it leads you toward a life of purpose, progress, and peace. Chapter 10. Review what worked and improve your strategy. Growth and success don't happen by accident. They happen by design. One of the most important parts of that design is reflection. Looking back at what worked, what didn't, and how you can improve moving forward. When you focus on solutions, not problems, you take control of your progress. But control means more than just taking action. It means learning from each step you take and adjusting your approach based on real results. Reviewing what worked is a powerful habit. It helps you identify the actions, choices, and strategies that pushed you forward. It highlights your strengths and shows you where to put your energy next time. Too often, people rush from one problem to the next without pausing to reflect. They repeat the same mistakes because they haven't stopped to analyze what went wrong or right. This cycle wastes time, energy, and motivation. When you commit to reviewing your results regularly, you break that cycle. You build a clear picture of your progress and learn how to improve efficiently. Start by asking yourself simple questions. What actions or decisions made a positive difference? Which steps brought me closer to my goal? What habits or mindset shifts helped me stay focused? Write these answers down. Seeing them on paper helps you remember and reinforces your progress. It also boosts your confidence because you recognize your own capability. Next, identify what didn't work. This is equally important. Avoid blaming or criticizing yourself. Instead, approach this with curiosity and honesty. Ask what actions or decisions didn't have the results I wanted. What obstacles slowed me down or blocked my progress? Were there any habits or mindsets that held me back? This process helps you understand your challenges without judgment. It prepares you to make better choices. Improving your strategy means using these insights to plan your next steps. It means tweaking your approach, trying new things, and being flexible. For example, if you notice that planning your day in the morning helped you stay productive, make that a daily habit. If you realize that distractions caused you to lose focus, find ways to minimize or eliminate them. Improvement is not about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Small adjustments add up over time. This cycle of action, review, and improvement keeps you moving forward with clarity and purpose. It prevents burnout and frustration because you're always learning and adapting. This mindset applies to all areas of life: work, relationships, health, personal goals. Wherever you want to grow, reviewing what worked and improving your strategy is key. Another benefit of this habit is that it builds resilience. When things don't go as planned, you don't see it as failure. Instead, you see it as feedback. You learn, adjust, and keep going. This mindset reduces fear and hesitation because you know you can always improve. You don't have to be perfect from the start. You just have to be willing to learn. Developing this habit takes intention. Set aside time regularly to reflect on your progress. This could be daily, weekly, or monthly, depending on your goals and schedule. Use tools that work for you: a journal, a planner, voice notes, or even simple mental check-ins. The key is consistency. Over time, you'll notice that reflection becomes a natural part of your process. You become more aware of your strengths and weaknesses. You make smarter decisions faster. This approach also improves your problem-solving skills. You learn to recognize patterns anticipate challenges, and create solutions before problems grow. It's important to celebrate your wins during this process. Recognizing what worked keeps you motivated. It reminds you that progress is happening, even if it feels slow. Celebration fuels confidence and creates positive momentum. It makes the journey enjoyable, not just about the destination. Remember, reviewing what worked and improving your strategy is a form of self-respect. It shows that you value your time, effort, and goals. You're investing in your own growth. No one else can do this for you. It's your responsibility and your power. So as you continue focusing on solutions, build this habit into your routine. After every project, challenge, or milestone, take a moment to look back. Learn from what you did well and what you can do better. This practice will make your efforts more effective and your journey more fulfilling. It will also prepare you for bigger challenges ahead, knowing you have the tools to adapt and grow. You have the ability to shape your life by the choices you make and the lessons you learn. Review what worked. Improve your strategy. Keep moving forward. That's how you turn challenges into victories and dreams into reality.